Alright. Let us try this one more game. Let's see here.
Hello.
Nope, don't want to
Special
watch a
thanks to
video.
Cola Saber for sponsoring our 90,000.
Okay. Let's see here. There we go. Should be live now. Let me lower my volume on my phone. JC Cook, what is good, my dude? Alright, so as you guys can see, I am trying something a little different, using OBS for the first time. I know what it is. I've been familiar with what OBS was. Hopefully the mic sounds good. It was actually off a second ago, which is why I had to stop the stream. But hopefully it's working now. Digger Dog, what's up? Joyful Spirit, how's it going? But yeah, I'm using OBS for the first time, and it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I was forced to change, and I'm probably going to repeat myself throughout the stream as people trickle in, but I was forced to change my method of video editing. Thus far, ever since I started Snapkeep videos, pretty much, with the exception of maybe the first handful of Pentacon videos, I was editing exclusively on my phone, like my actual phone. Yeah, so the first couple videos I was using Final Cut Pro, I believe, or Pro X or whatever it's called. And it was alright, but my computer was very, very slow. It was not equipped to handle any kind of video editing beyond maybe like a 10-minute home video, honestly. At least in my opinion. I'm not the greatest with computers, but I'm definitely not the worst. And I was struggling a lot with how that was going out and stuff. So I ended up finding out through, I don't know if it was a Google search or if it was a friend of mine, I don't know who it was, but the person was like, hey man, there's video editing software that's little to no cost at all, and you could download it as an app on your phone and you can start video editing. And then I was like, wait a minute, if it's on my phone, I could do it on the go and maybe crank out as much content as possible, which I did for a little while. I'm trying to remember what all notable videos I edited on my phone. Oh, the Hereditary reaction video. That's on the channel. You guys can feel free to search it if you haven't seen it yet. I think it's probably my most popular video. And then a couple of the other movie watching videos and stuff like that. But anyway, now I'm on Adobe Premiere Pro and I'm liking it so far. It was a little bit of a learning curve, but I edited the gamers on there, edited the reaction video to, oh my god, I'm blanking on his name right now. The fan film. I'm really bad with names, guys. I'm sorry. But yeah, I edited that video on my phone last, and then the program crashed on me and deleted half of the gamers. I had spent like 2.5 days in between my job and everything editing it, and it deleted the entire progress. So I had to start from scratch. That was very discouraging, but you got to go forward, right? So my friend was like, just try Adobe Premiere, and here we are. So now I'm venturing outside a little bit in the OBS realm, and yeah, I'm excited. Joyful Spirit asks, have I watched the Gamers Darkness Rising yet? Not just yet. I got to line up scheduling with like Lex and everything because I haven't seen it. So I thought I did, but I did not. And I don't want to. You guys are going to get 2 reactions for the price of 1 in that regard because she hasn't seen them either. So if you guys saw the video, she did enjoy it a lot. I was kind of worried because she is used to, you know, high production of stuff and video quality and all that jazz, and I knew that it was pretty dated and it was actually not, you know, made in Hollywood or anything, but I think it was still worth watching, and she really enjoyed it. So if you haven't checked out that reaction video, definitely check it out on the in the channel. But yes, we do plan on doing the other 2 films, Joyful Spirit for sure, and she's definitely excited for them to come out for sure. We have a project that's coming out. I wanted to do it differently, but with timing and having to get used to a new video editing software and everything, I don't think it's feasible because it's going to be me editing alone. But I wanted to do 31 different horror-based or Halloween-ish kind of movies for the month of October. And I wanted to have one come out every day in October, which I'm still going to do that at some point. There's plenty of horror movies out there that I haven't seen, lesser so than I haven't seen, but that definitely Lex hasn't seen. And if you guys are digging these reaction videos, I'm definitely going to be doing those. But yeah, that'll be on the We Judge Everything channel. I should point that out. You're on a different channel right now, those of you that aren't familiar with it. But I'll definitely have the link in the description and everything for the new channel that I have with Lex, my girlfriend, and we do like first time reaction to videos, movies, food, and any kind of weird traveling thing that we do when we go out to a concert or whatever. We're gonna make kind of a vlog style video. It'll be on that channel. This channel, I'm gonna probably reserve it more for stuff that's personal to me, like things I haven't done. She might appear in some of these videos as well, but for the most part, it'll be anything D&D oriented, anything requested by you, the subscribers that are still on this channel, which thank you very much, by the way. So yeah, that's pretty much how we're going to do it moving forward. It's much better than the gamers, longer, better quality, and a lot more liners. Really? Okay, I'm excited. Across the Spider-Verse reaction. So Digger Dog, I'm glad you brought that up. Believe it or not, even though Miles Morales is my favorite Spider-Man, I have not seen that movie yet. I actually was not in the best of positions going when it came out. I was trying to find a job and still struggling with a bunch of stuff in my personal life. I'm a lot better now, and I have better days, or still have bad days, but I have more better days than bad days, I think, and I'm happy for that. So that will be a reaction that I'm very excited for because I haven't seen the movie yet, and I've been putting it off. Now that I've kind of flew under the radar with the spoiler season for that movie, hopefully I don't run into any stragglers that come out talking about it, but I'm definitely going to be watching Across the Spider-Verse, and there will be a reaction video for that 100%. The kids and I will be skipping the horror, just not my genre. Absolutely understandable. After the horror movies, I'm really excited for what we're doing after that, and I was going to keep it a secret, but what's the point? You guys have been pretty loyal to the channel, and you guys deserve to be kept in the loop as far as the inner circle goes. And what I'm going to be doing, I didn't think I'd ever meet someone that never saw these movies, but she has not seen anything Star Wars whatsoever. No Mandalorian, obviously no Ahsoka. We're probably not going to do as far as like all of Clone Wars, all of Rebels, unless, you know, we are in a position where you guys are clearly wanting that. As far as what we want to do are the 9 movies, 10 if you count Rogue One, because I'm a huge, as you guys know, those of you who know me, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Star Wars and Stranger Things. That's pretty much what sums me up. I, very passionate. I have lightsabers all over the house and Star Wars props all over the house. And when my friends have come over to hang out with Lex in the setting, we would get into a Star Wars debate, and she would be, apart from just feeling left out in general, she would be interested in what we're talking about. Like, we would talk about deep lore or a specific character like Darth Vader, and she would go, apart from his name, I know nothing about him, and his look, I know nothing about him. So that kind of spawned that, and I was like, really? You haven't seen anything? She goes, no. Granted, who hasn't lived their life in modern, lifetime that doesn't know what I Am Your Father is? And she kind of knows that, but nothing else. I think if she saw a picture of Luke, she wouldn't even know it was him. So I'm pretty excited about that. She's a nerd, but in a different way. She's like a D&D nerd, newly into that, but took that running. So why wouldn't she take Star Wars running? But if she doesn't care for it, because some of those lines, especially Luke's in the original trilogy, can be really cheesy and really hard to swallow. But we're going to do Star Wars for sure. Let's see here. 31 Days of Christmas. We could do that. I didn't think there were 31 Christmas movies. I know Nightmare Before Christmas is pretty up there on the popular list. Polar Express, Miracle on 34th Street. My favorite Christmas movie, it would be A Christmas Story. So that's what, 4 or 5 movies already? Yeah, maybe we could do that for sure. Why don't you appear on Holden's channel anymore? So good question, Guts151. Yeah, we had a falling out about if I'm swiveling, I'm on my drum throne right now. Doesn't have back support, so I'm gonna be moving posture. But anyway, it's been almost 3 years, if not 3 years already. COVID kind of helped it seem like it was 5 minutes ago, but kind of had a falling out, and for those reasons we're not even friends anymore. Honestly, it's not even just videos, but that's pretty much it. There's a lot of history there. I've known Holden a long time, and some stuff happened. Everybody got hurt in the process. I know I definitely did, and that's pretty much the reason. It sucks, but it is what it is. But yeah, so I actually don't know if that'll ever be rectified, but I got really good closure as far as that goes. I reached out to Matt, And because Matt, like, it was a big falling out. It was not just me and Holden. It was me, Holden, Matt. I thought a few others, and turns out, thankfully, it wasn't. Like, I still talk to Jeremy at any time. I could message him and he'll message back. Same thing with Prime. But Matt and Holden, pretty much, we stopped talking. And recently, I reached out to Matt. Part of the therapy that I'm going through with all the stuff. I mean, I'm trying to stay positive. I'll be honest with you guys. You know, life's hard. Life's really hard. But you have to figure out a way to keep going forward. And in that journey that I'm still very much in the first chapter of, I came to the realization that, you know, life's too short. It's way too short. You don't know what's going to happen. Nothing's guaranteed. You can be taken off the planet tomorrow. Your loved ones, people that you had argument, you know, and that's not the main reason, but that's a really big perspective fueled reason as to why I made the decision that, you know, hey, regardless of how I felt or how I still feel, you know, wronged, what have you, whatever, there's two sides to every story. It takes two to tango. You know how that goes. And I made the decision to just take a shot in the dark. Reached out to Matt and sent him an Instagram message and was like, hey, you know, I'm sorry about how everything went down. I feel like if I could go back and redo it, I would. There's certain things I probably shouldn't have done. Air out details on, you know, YouTube and stuff like that, which I'm not going to make excuses for myself. I wasn't trying to hurt anyone, but I definitely should not have probably aired out some of the more finer details in a one-sided setting, which resulted in, you know, you guys, no fault of your own, but reaching out individually and getting responses that weren't in a like centered setting, for lack of a better phrase. And I definitely admit that that's not the wisest way of doing that. I think what caused me, because I normally think before I act, pretty, you know, conscious of that. And I think it was passion fueled. I think it was just really hurt. But at the same time, I did not do it fueled by, oh, I'll show him or them or whatever. It was just questions were asked and I was going through so many emotions that it was kind of like a venting period for me. And I tried to make it seem pretty objective. And but, you know, it's hard to do that when you're hearing one person's side of it. But anyway, I reached out to Matt. He was nice enough to respond back, and he was pretty receptive of my open the door, you know, whatever you want to call the phrase. But, you know, he said, you know, I shouldn't have gotten in the middle of it. And, you know, he said, you know, we were all wrong. We all should have communicated. And I was like, absolutely. I 100% agree. Yeah, and he had mentioned that Holden wanted to reach out and stuff, and he didn't know how, and which still to this day, I don't know. I did eventually reach out to Holden and pretty much did the same thing. I haven't heard back from him, but either way, you know, like, it's not that I don't care, but either way, the biggest thing is that I was able to start off that journey, so to speak, of closure and of just personal growth, as far as, like, you know, they say in a marriage, don't go to bed, you know, holding grudges, that kind of thing. That just doesn't just apply to marriages. That could apply to any relationship, business, personal, what have you. So, you know, certain things I'm trying to do to better myself require you to not have any skeletons in the closet, or as least amount of skeletons in the closet as possible. I've said it multiple times. I think I've said it even before I reached out to them that, you know, I wish them both the best. I still follow Matt in his, because of his fitness and his expertise in, like, what to eat, what to do, regimens, because I've always struggled with losing weight, always, my entire life. And, you know, Matt's put a lot of perspective in my life in general. Like, I value Matt Lane a lot. Like, I really do. Even throughout the most heartfelt, I know I'm going on a rant, but even throughout the most heartfelt problem or, you know, moment in our friendship breaking off or whatever, I still had Matt in the back of my mind. Whenever I saw something, I would look at the nutrition facts. Matt taught me how to read that efficiently and what to not be misled by and stuff like that. And, you know, it was really unfortunate. And a lot of the wanting to reach out was fueled by that. You know, he's a good dude. He's just a good guy. But yeah, you know, as far as that goes, that's why. Long story shorter, that's why. Let's catch up on this real quick. Thank you, Joyful Spirit, for trying to clear that up. I know I kind of went expert mode with it. Watch Star Wars and then take her to Galaxy's Edge. Yes, absolutely. You could not have said it better. So I really want to go back to Galaxy's Edge really badly. Especially since all the additions. I know that there's like a Mando walking around right now. And the last time I went with my friend CJ, we had a really good experience because we wore our 501st Racing shirts and we got stopped like 10 times, and that felt really cool. But yeah, I definitely want to go back to Galaxy's Edge. I want to take Luke, my youngest, to Star Wars or to Galaxy's Edge and Disney in general. He hasn't been yet. And Logan, my firstborn, we went and celebrated his 6th birthday with Prime, actually. Prime's birthday that year. There's not a video, I don't think, out of it. I do have some stock footage that I can probably make a compilation video or some sort of video on our experience at Disney, but which that might be something I put here on this channel. But if you guys are interested in that, let me know. But I'm basically just trying to grow. I'm trying to keep YouTube because it's my favorite hobby, and it's something that I really enjoy, editing videos and stuff like that. So I'm trying to make that a big part of my life still, in addition to, you know, the 501st and everything. I'm just trying to dig out of this hole. Mental illness is horrible. It's a horrible thing to have to deal with, but you have to deal with it if it's unfortunately, you know, something that's hurting you. But yeah, definitely we're gonna do that. We're planning to go to the Harry Potter world. I know Logan really wants to do that really, really badly. I think he likes Harry Potter more than Star Wars, which is okay. And I think Luke is the other way around, which makes sense. And I'm glad that's how that is, because I named him Luke for a reason. But yeah. Has she seen Harry Potter? No, she has not. Okay, let's make a list real quick. No Harry Potter, no Lord of the Rings, no Star Wars, and everything that comes with it. So obviously The Hobbit, you know, the MCU, pretty much nothing or anything Disney has their hands on now she hasn't seen. And then there's a bunch of cult classic comedy movies that she's heard of all of them, hasn't seen either of them. She hasn't seen any of the Ace Ventura movies, any of the Back to the Future movies, which I say recently, within the last like 3 to 5 years, I saw the 3 Back to the Future movies for the very first time. I have not seen Indiana Jones yet. That's something that I'm pretty excited about, because that's also up there with Star Wars. None of the Fast and Furious movies, which is another franchise that's really near and dear to my heart. She hasn't seen anything of that. I'm trying to think in like franchises. I really want to do the Mummy trilogy, because I'm a really, really big fan of the first 2 Mummy movies, and the third one is lesser so, because when they got rid of Rachel Weisz, I was kind of like let down. I hate when they replace actors and stuff like that unless they pass on. But which reminds me, I forget his name, but the man who played, I saw the first episode of Ahsoka. That I have not seen anything but the first episode, and I was just trying to dodge spoilers. But because Lex hasn't seen it, I figured I'd watch it and then kind of like, you know, not get it spoiled. And then when she gets up to Ahsoka, then you guys will get a reaction either way. But saw the first episode and saw that they had given him a tribute at the end, and I thought it was really sad that he passed away. So you know, they have to replace him, obviously. And then so that except for that, I don't like it when people replace actors, you know, stuff like that. So it kind of takes me out of the world, and that's why the third Mummy movie, it's not really that high, but the first 2 are really high on my list. Let's see here. Time heals wounds, Brody. Yeah, it definitely does. It definitely does. And one of my really good, if not one of my best friends, besides CJ, just lost his dad, and a couple days ago, or maybe almost a week ago now. I can't remember. But we're trying to help him through that. CJ, of course, is not here anymore. He's in Virginia, so he's trying to help from, you know, remotely. And he and I the 3 of us have been friends for a long, long time, back from when I used to play Magic semi-competitively or semi-professionally. And I really, 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 you know, value them 2 a lot. And he put the notice on the group chat that he had just lost his dad, and that even put it even in more perspective. You know, if you have any loved ones that you haven't heard from in a while, or you maybe had a tiff with them or something and you haven't spoken, try and find it in your heart to reconcile, man. I'm telling you, it's once that person's gone, there is nothing you can do. And you know, I'm from a religious background, but I'm not a devout, you know, Christian or anything like that. I don't pretend to be or anything, because I know a lot. I was, like I said, raised in the Baptist church in New York City, and which is very, very different from Southern Baptist. I just want to point that out. But you know, very familiar with the Bible and all that. personal reasons, I've lost my way, I guess is what Christians would say, with that. And I'm very, very, very hesitant right now to get back in that lifestyle. But all that to say, religion kind of helps with what comes after this world and what comes after this life. And I don't know. I have no indication whatsoever what's to await any of us after this life. So let's just say there's nothing and we just fade away. When that person passes on, there's no way to rectify whatever. So Jackson made that very clear when we asked him, is there anything we could do? He was like, just call your loved ones that you haven't spoken to in a while and tell them that you love them, because my dad was taken from me, and my dad was too. So the three of us actually lost our dads the same way, just from one day to the next, and it sucked. So lesson, moral, whatever you want to call it, definitely reach out to your loved ones while you have that chance. Let's see here. Not to be depressing, but it's true. Let's see. What do I think is the best order? That, Smiley, you crushed it. That's something I wanted to address at some point in the live stream, because we were going to do Star Wars. What do I think is the best order to show Star Wars to someone? I don't know if I should show them the prequels first. So, okay. First and foremost, let me get this out of the way. Star Wars fans are some of the most toxic fans you'll ever meet in your life. And that is, I'm telling you, because I am not a toxic fan, but I am a huge Star Wars fan. I regard myself as among the top, at least 15% of Star Wars fans. But toxicity exists very, very strongly in Star Wars. I think it's because it's a very detail-oriented thing, as most of you know who are fans of the franchise and series. You'll find there's probably videos out there about it. I don't have a preference, so to speak. I like to think of it, or at least entertain the concept, that the prequels came out after the original trilogy, and then the sequels came out after that. So watching it in that order isn't going to necessarily hurt anything, because we all got it that way. Now, there's an argument to, with the future, there comes progress. So now that they're all out, you can watch them theoretically, chronologically, interweave Rogue One right in between episode 3 and 4 to get even more of that, and then maybe interweave the first season of Mandalorian at the end of episode 6. Like, you can do that, but ultimately it depends on what you are trying to do. I assume you're trying to do the same thing to someone you know. Whatever's feasible, whatever is realistic, as far as like what would not convolute the story with them. I think personally, if you can, watch it in chronological order, just because the sequels or the prequels have gotten a newfound resurgence of popularity because of how much people hate the Disney trilogy now. And that's what I mean by the toxicity of Star Wars fans. I remember a time where the prequels were hated. They were like taboo. And all the boomer Star Wars fans and all the people that saw the movie in theaters when it came out in the 70s and 80s were like, oh my God, it's an abomination. Here's a million different reasons why the prequels suck. Now that, quote unquote, from them, the Disney trilogy is a true tragedy, the prequels are tolerable or acceptable at best. So that's kind of like to give you the synopsis of my opinion on Star Wars fans. But I think that's what I would do. Is show them the prequels first and then the original trilogy chronologically. And like I said, if you put Rogue One in there, I think it makes it an even 10, and it's the chef's kiss. It's definitely the cherry on that sundae, because Rogue One to me is flawless. That movie is so good. It's like the Titanic's version, or the Star Wars version of the Titanic story. We all know how it ends, but you want to watch it anyway. Let's see here. Has she seen Hook? No, she has not seen Hook. Ross, I saw Hook when it first came out, and that's about it. That's really, wow, it's been probably, I could safely say 20 years since I've seen Hook. So in a lot of ways, it'll be like me watching it for the first time, which is another thing. A lot of these movies she has seen in the background, or has had on, or someone else had it on while she was, going or visiting or whatever. You know how we do when some of us put on movies in the background, put it on mute while we have, so that there's no static or any, there's something to kind of hold that one person's attention who isn't in the conversation kind of deal. But I've sat her down and I've said, with movies that I thought she had seen, I'm like, hey, do you remember this scene? And she's like, no. And I'm like, do you remember this? And she's like, no idea. So a lot of those movies we're still going to cover, because she clearly has no idea. And most of the movies, if not all of them that we have covered so far, if I ask her right now, do you remember this? She does. I don't know if it's because we were in a filming setting or if it's because she knew it was going to be a film, her on video, so she wanted to like pay attention. Yeah, so a lot of those movies she has probably seen coming and going, but has no idea. So some of them, like Hook, for me too. I haven't seen it in over a decade, over 2 decades probably. So you'd get my reaction as well on that one. I haven't seen those either. The MCU, are we related? JC Cook, you haven't seen the MCU? Wow. Yeah, so there are a couple movies in the MCU I haven't seen yet. COVID being a big reason, and going to the theaters, it's just not the same for me. I used to go to the theaters a lot with friends, and I don't really. Some of those friends have moved away, like CJ, and some of those friends I don't, talk to anymore. And I kind of had a falling out of the theater. The theater used to be, going to the movies used to be a big deal for me. I'm gonna go tomorrow to the theaters for the first time since I think Scream 6. And if I go to, I found that since COVID and like 2018, really, I only go to the theater when it's a movie I'm petrified that's gonna get spoiled for me, like the Scream movies. I would go to the theaters and watch it. But since COVID and stuff, my personal life and stuff like that, I don't really do the theater that much, unfortunately, anymore. I probably want to, but part of me wants to, I should say, but I haven't. So I've missed a lot of MCU movies. Like, I haven't seen Love and Thunder yet at all. Haven't seen Wakanda Forever. I haven't seen Quantum Realm or Quantumania, whatever the Ant-Man movie's called. Trying to think. I think the last MCU movie I saw was whichever one came out after. I saw them both, but either Doctor Strange 2 or the Spider-Man No Way Home, or not No Way Home, whatever the third one was called, with the big three in there. But yeah, I haven't seen any of the Phase 5 or whatever they're calling the new Marvel movies. I still haven't seen a couple of Marvel shows either, and Star Wars shorts for that matter. I haven't seen Endor yet. I saw Kenobi. So I have a lot of stuff I haven't seen. Once we get to it, you'll get 2 reactions, and I'm sure I'll preface that in front of the video. Like, guys, I haven't seen this yet. So, but Ahsoka probably won't be one of those, just because I really don't want that spoiled for me. So I'm gonna probably watch Ahsoka off camera myself. But Lex, you'll get a reaction from Lex. Let's see. Hook is great. Yeah, I remember it being fantastic. Robin Williams, what doesn't he blow out of the water? MTG. So yes, Magic the Gathering, 100%. I played a lot of Magic the Gathering. I think for a good 3.5 years, I was trying to make it a career, and never got into the streaming element. I know since COVID, especially, that's where most of the pros make their earnings now, is by streaming and making content. I just don't think I've been out of the game for so long. I don't think I'm as competitive as I used to be with it, and I starting out, that would have to be something that I would have to do on the side, which I have so much going on right now. But Magic the Gathering is a very fun game. I'm not very happy with some of the cards that have come out in recent years. I think the game's kind of lost its charm as far as like the balance and stuff goes. But Magic the Gathering is a very fun game, and it's something really, really fun, especially in a casual setting like Commander, for sure. Won't you need to watch Clone Wars and Rebels in order for Lex to watch Ahsoka? Good question. And yes, you're correct, because I don't think I finished Rebels. I watched the first episode, and there were certain things that I was like, wait, what? But Rebels was something that was, quote unquote, I had some spoilers for, and I felt like I had finished the show because of those spoilers, and then I remembered that I never watched the last half of it. So that's something else I need to get to, is Rebels. Maybe we will watch it and we just won't make content, or we'll only make content on pivotal moments, like an episode that I know she's going to go, oh my God, maybe we'll do like the Bad Batch or something smaller. I haven't really done videos on TV shows, not to say it's impossible, obviously, but it all depends. It all depends on you guys. These videos, I definitely get a lot out of making them and editing them. I think it's a lot of fun, but it's all on what you guys want to watch. If you guys want her to watch Clone Wars, I'm sure she will. If Clone Wars itself was a Star Wars movie, it'd be among the top 3, I think, in most people's opinion. I think Clone Wars was, Dave Filoni and everyone involved just crushed it. And yeah, so we could do that. It all depends. If you guys would like us to, we will make it happen. Have you ever shown you stuff that you ended up liking? So she has something on a unofficial list of things that I have not seen that she's a big fan of. Now, her and I bond a lot over the interest in like horror and stuff. Sorry, Joyful Spirit, but like horror and slasher movies and stuff like that. So there's a show called American Horror Story Coven that she's a huge fan of. I have not seen it, and she wants to show me that. So maybe we'll make a video on that where she will take the helm and introduce me as the subject. But other than that, I don't think so. I really don't think so. There are a couple movies I wish that, because this was during my content creation social media hiatus when I was going through a lot personally. Her and I were like watch towards the beginning of our relationship. We were watching stuff just to kind of keep me distracted and keep me from dwelling on what was going on in my life. And I had shown her some movies that were very, very near and dear to my heart. My very favorite movie for the first was one of the movies that I showed her for the first time. Obviously outside of camera, which I kind of going back wish I would have held off, but life, I needed a distraction. That movie was The Princess Bride, and she really liked it a lot. So we actually do have interest outside of just horror and nasty stuff. And then of course Stranger Things, her and I are huge fans, so we watched, as the seasons came out, we watched it privately. But yeah, so I definitely think that there are things that she likes that I haven't seen or heard of or anything like that. Probably heard of, but just haven't seen. So other than that, she'll probably, after we do Coven, she'll probably want to do other things, and we'll definitely preface that in the video's description or thumbnail or something so that on the subject. Let's see here. I've seen the MCU, just not Star Wars, Harry Potter, etc. Oh, okay. Star Wars is a bit surprising, not gonna lie, because it's just such a multi-generational phenomenon. It's probably one of the only franchises that you can say that to. Fast and Furious is another one because we're not, it came out at the beginning of like my ascension from like little kid to adolescence. So that's another franchise I kind of attribute to that. But Star Wars, because the movies kept coming out, that's a bit surprising. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's if anything, it's an opportunity that one of your friends can experience with you for the first time, because there are some Star Wars moments that you'll see and go, oh, that's what that means in a meme or whatever. But I mean, it's not a bad thing. Harry Potter's another one that's probably up there with multi-generational now. I know I grew up with the books. I'm pretty close to Harry's age, if not by a year or so, in the lore. And when those books came out, I remember me, my cousin, a bunch of people I know would get one book for Christmas, because I think they came out every November or something like that. I know the first movie came out in November, I think. And the books would come out, and that would be, you would pretty much, if you saw a book-shaped present, you knew it was the latest Harry Potter book. So again, that's something you can watch. The movies are great. We just lost Dumbledore. I'm so bad with names. I think his name is Michael Gambon. Sorry. But we just lost him. He just passed away, I think, a couple days ago. He was like 82 years old and died of pneumonia, which sucks. He had retired from acting, I think, shortly after Book of Eli, because he was having problems remembering his lines and stuff like that, and he just didn't feel confident enough to act anymore. So another Harry Potter actor that has ascended. But yeah, that was pretty sad. Harry Potter is definitely something I would watch, though. Let's see here. Have you seen the new Daryl Dixon show episode? Is really Smiley, really? Fun fact, have just recently finished watching The Walking Dead. I again, because of COVID and where it was streaming and all that, I was waiting for them to finish the last half of season 10, I believe was the last season, or 11, I can't remember. And either way, the last season I hadn't seen, and I just recently binged all of it and finished the show. I was pretty happy with how it ended. I knew they were doing a spinoff show called Dead City or something with Negan and Maggie. I haven't seen that yet, and I haven't seen Fear the Walking Dead at all. So I knew that they were going to do a bunch of spinoff shows to kind of keep the story going. But no, I did not know Daryl was getting... I think I knew he was getting his own show or episode or miniseries or something, but I didn't know for sure. I didn't realize it was already out, especially now with all the... Unless they filmed it years ago. I know there's a bunch of writer strikes and stuff like that in Hollywood right now, and that's crazy that new stuff's coming out. Honestly, bro, I don't know if it's the horror... or the violence she enjoys. I'm not a horror fan myself, um, but if she gets into Marvel, she may like Charlie. Yes, yeah. So Charlie Cox and John Barenthal's the Daredevil project that they were a part of, really, really amazing. Fun fact: I actually know an actor that personally, friends with my mom for longer than I've been alive, and I'm 35 years old. He's an actor, and when we lived in New York City, he lived in my building, and he was doing Law and Order and stuff like that. He did one of the very first Netflix commercials back when Netflix was sent to your house, and eventually he got a role on Daredevil. I think it's season 1. He's one of the detectives that interrogates, I believe it's Charlie Cox, and he is really, really, really cool in real life. His name is Daryl. Actually Daryl in real life, and yeah, he's an actor, and I was watching Daredevil as it came out, and when I saw his face, I instantly grabbed my phone, paused it, and was like, dude, Daredevil, really? He goes, yeah, that was actually a really fun project. And I just felt like it was such an out of body experience feeling, because I normally don't know anybody who's in prominent stuff like that. But Daredevil's a fantastic show. I think I'm due for a rewatch, especially that Punisher scene in the prison. Oh my god. Yeah, that show's really dope. I think I would show that to anyone who hasn't seen it either. Yeah, awesome violence and a great story. Absolutely. And great acting. The acting, I know the John Barenthal scene, if I remember correctly, an homage to Oldboy in that style of never having any cuts and just having one continuous action scene all the way throughout, which puts a lot of pressure on actors and stunt doubles, and, typically means that there are no stunt doubles for the main actors involved. So they have to do all that physical, strenuous stuff. And I think Charlie Cox was up to the task for sure. But it's tricky, because it's almost like filming a live show. If you're narrowing into one take or one continuous shot, it's a lot of moving parts. And it was a masterful scene. It was one of the reasons why I think Oldboy is a cult classic, is because that scene was so revolutionary. What's something you're a fan of that not... there's a heart in the way on my phone. I'm trying to read all your... that's not really that big that you wish it was. That's a great question. Great question. Let me see. Looking at my wall of DVDs, see if anything sparks. I am a huge fan of a show called Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction. If you haven't heard of that, it's a show that I've actually had an idea of recreating myself as a little bit of a project on the side. Have to find a group of friends that want to make movies and stuff. But it's a show about, if you haven't heard of it, it's hosted by a couple people. I think the original host was James Brolin, Josh Brolin's dad. He was the original host, and then it was Jonathan Frakes from Star Trek. And it was basically a 30-minute show that came out, I think it was every Friday when it was on TV. And basically they show 5 stories. Some of them are fake, some of them are documented happenings that happen, paranormal, or mysterious. Some of them are not paranormal, happenings that have happened. And it's up to you as you watch the show. In between each commercial break is usually when they end the story, and you decide in the back of your mind, is that real, is that not? That concept is kind of carried over into TV shows now, as far as like baking shows. Like there's one called Is That Cake? So that kind of concept has been still very much happening, but Beyond Belief took it in a great avenue, as far as like what the content was, the fact that it was real life stuff that happened to people and testimonies and stuff like that. And then at the end of the show, they recap all 5 stories. The host is like, all right, let's take a look back on our first tale of XYZ. They show a little excerpt of it, and then they go, was that real or fake? And he gives you like 5 or so seconds, and then he tells you it actually happened, and they at the end of the show, they usually say it was narrated by Don LaFontaine, which, in a world, that guy. But it was just super, super awesome. And it never really got a remake. I know Unsolved Mysteries got a remake, which is another show that I watch a lot, that got a reboot because, unfortunately, crimes and stuff are still happening. So instead of covering all the stuff that happened in the 70s, 60s, and 80s and 90s, now they're covering stuff that happened in the 2000s and onward. So, but Beyond Belief would probably be that would be one of those things. I'm trying to think of anything else that isn't big, but is big to me. There's a bunch of cult classics like Fanboys, which is another movie I want to show Lex as soon as she watches maybe once she gets through the original trilogy, we'll watch Fanboys. because that's a movie that's on my top 10 list of movies that I love that most people probably haven't even heard of. There's a movie called Grind. It's back to my skating days. It's up there with like Grind and Lords of Dogtown. Lords of Dogtown, I don't know if it's because it has Heath Ledger in it or not, but it kind of gets bumped above Grind. For me, it's the other way around. Grind had like Mike Vogel and a few other people. It had Shooter McGavin from Happy Gilmore in it as the dad figure. Knights of Badassum movie, I up there my top 10. I think that would be it as far as like what comes to mind immediately. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there that I don't think that has the praise it deserves. Let's see here. Jon Bernthal is one of my favorite actors. He's unbelievable. Yes, he is. I know he has a podcast that he does. He has a very, very moving episode on his podcast where he interviews Shia LaBeouf. Those of you who I grew up watching Even Stevens, who know anything about Shia LaBeouf, he's gone through a lot. And Jon Bernthal actually, he has, I don't know what the series is called, but my brother actually put me onto it, and he pretty much goes to the person. So most of them are celebrities, if not all of them, and they have gone through hardship somewhere in their life, whether it was legal or personal or whatever. And he goes to them and interviews them and asks hard-hitting questions. He doesn't sugarcoat anything, and the actor can say whatever they want. It's not something I recommend for the wee ones out there, even if it's an actor you're a fan of, because I think that there is cussing and stuff like that. But yeah, Jon Bernthal's a fantastic human being. And I think what made me a huge Jon Bernthal fan besides Punisher was his performance in Fury. Not so much Walking Dead. I hated Shane. But, the whole always rubbing his head after every line. But, yeah, he, Carl, I wouldn't put Carl in any danger. To me, that's what Jon Bernthal was for a long time. And then Fury came out, and I was like, holy crap. But, yeah, and I think that's what made him close to Shia LaBeouf, because he was in that as well. But, yeah, he's a great person for sure. So, I'm going to the movies tomorrow, and I'm going to watch The Exorcist 40th. I don't think it's 50th. Maybe it is. I don't know. Anniversary of The Exorcist, and in theaters. And that's one of Lex's favorite movies of all time. That's probably it. That's probably her horror movie of all time. And neither one of us has seen it in a theater setting. I'm going to go with my coworker from my job and her mom and sister, and hopefully I think it's going to be a good time. It's definitely an intense movie. That movie is really, really intense. But I want to see it in a theater setting, and I'm really excited for that. And that'll be the first time going to the theaters since Scream 6. Yeah. But yeah, as far as updates go, that's pretty much it. I haven't done a lot lately. Not because I haven't wanted to, just a lot's been going on, and just started a new job, and juggling that with everything and YouTube and everything else, and I'm trying to get more like I think I want to do a live a week. I know I make all these like plans and stuff, and they end up falling through, but I'm trying to, one of my biggest things to work on is time management, and that's something that I struggle with a lot. So I'm trying to like make little sticky notes for myself all over the place to kind of remind myself of stuff I need to do, and I'm painting again, and I'm just trying to keep my mind occupied so that I don't dwell on the stuff I shouldn't be thinking about, and just keep moving forward. So let's see here. I watched that with my brothers in Mexico. Love that movie. Grind. Yeah, dude. Grind is perfect. Music, the soundtrack's one of the best soundtracks out there. Great road trip soundtrack. It's a fantastic flick for sure. But yeah, I think, I don't know. I don't have anything else, any other updates to talk about. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully, as I said, I'm talking to Matt again. Hopefully, he and I link up soon. I'd like to see him and stuff. But everybody's busy all the time, so that's the way that cookie crumbles right now. But yeah, hopefully we hang out soon and catch up in person and all that jazz. But other than that, I don't really have anything else going on. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions, definitely let me know in chat. I really appreciate you guys that came and hung out today. I know it was kind of, I put the message on the community post like, what was it, like 2 days ago or something like that. So I'm really happy that you guys were able to come hang out. Those of you who are watching this, if you watch it in post and make it to the end, thank you so much, for watching it or whatever. And I'm going to try and do these lives more so than once every couple months, maybe once a week. I'm going to try, as always, I'm going to make a community post beforehand, giving you guys ample notice. They'll always be on the weekends, probably always on Saturday morning, because I'm off on the weekends now. Which fantastic feeling. Feel like a normal American adult, but yeah, so I'm going to be doing these probably on Saturdays, and I'll always give a notice at the very latest on like Thursday, reminding you, hey, this Saturday I'm going live, something like this. If there's any topic, like if a new movie's coming out or something like that, I'd be happy to make that the theme of the live. But I wanted to do one just catching up and just giving you guys any updates that I may have had in my life since the last time you heard from me in a non pre-recorded setting. Let me know in the comments of this video if you're still in the chat. There's 6 of you on here now. Just stay positive, my G. Yeah, you got it, bro. You got it. Same right back at you and everybody listening. Yeah, man, I gotta go. Keep doing these. Love asking you questions. Absolutely, Smiley. Thank you so much for the comment. And I'm gonna be doing these lives. And if there's any movies that you guys want us to cover, comment on this video, and I'll just make a note of that. That way it's condensed in one spot, so that I can make those videos for you, those movies for you. If I don't do them, I'll cover them. I'll go over it on the next week's live. Hey, these are the comments. These are the videos you guys want us to make. And if I have seen it, and Lex has seen it on that rare occasion, we'll let you know why we're not making those videos. But we'll do TV shows, trailer reactions. We're doing, I guess this is a good way to end the live. I know, Smiley, you have to go, but thank you so much for hanging out. A good way to end the live, there's on our channel called We Judge Everything. There should be a little Reaper with, he's like sitting in front of a judge's judge's chamber and behind the judge's desk. That's our channel that her and I started together, and which I'm still going to be uploading here, obviously, but I upload a lot of the reactions there because most of them are stuff she hasn't seen. And we're going to do, we do food that we haven't tried. Like we tried exotic beef jerky. We tried ranch flavored ice cream for the first time, and I was waiting for Jack or Dorian fruit to come into season. I think I missed it because it was in August, but I'll check to see if they have it, because we'd like to do that. I heard it tastes like ketchup. And then, of course, at some point, we're going to try Rocky Mountain oysters. I have not ever tried that. She hasn't tried that. She's tried gizzard before. I haven't, so we'll probably do that from like a one-sided perspective. But there's one where we tried habanero or ghost pepper and scorpion pepper hot wings, which is on the channel right now at We Judge Everything. We had a really good time making that video. Definitely, if you haven't already, give that video a watch. I'll try and put the channel, a link to the channel in the description of this after it uploads. But definitely show that channel some love, because we're going to be posting all of our reaction videos over there and stuff like that. So I'd like to help that channel grow as well. Suspiria is a great horror movie. Are you still down to do games? Spider-Man 2 is almost out. Yes, 100%. The game streaming, probably do a mixture of, if Lex is in the video, I'll probably post it on the We Judge Everything channel. If it's just me and I got some downtime and you guys want, a live stream of me playing, Jedi Fallen Order or something like that, just let me know. You can send me an email on snapkeepvideos@gmail.com, or message me on Instagram at snapkeepvideos or whatever they have me on there. And just let me know. Put out your requests out there. I know Joyful Spirit has been very, very, very diligent, and I appreciate that with the way my memory is and everything, reminding me about the gamers. And I was so excited to make that project because it was something that was requested by you guys. As far as like the movies that I make, any kind of skits or anything like that, is something that I kind of come up with on the fly. I'm going to start doing a bunch of shorts, because Lex and I, we go somewhere, we see something ridiculous, and I'm like, should we make a short on it? And she goes, I don't know. I mean, maybe. And, so I'm going to just do it. I'm just going to make a bunch of shorts. Keep you guys in the loop and the funny stuff that we see out there in the wild. But as far as movies and videos go, let me know. Like, overload my social media, email me, whatever you want to do, to send me messages directly to get your requests out there so that we can make it happen. Because we want to give you guys what you want to watch and grow together. So that's definitely... Good afternoon, Game Masters Guild. What's going on? I don't know if it's Dave or Val, but good to see you either way. I think I'm gonna stay live until 12 o'clock and then get off at 12. So unfortunately you came in during the end, but thank you so much for stopping by either way. Just updating the good folks on what's coming and all that jazz. But I'm actually gonna stop by the shop in a couple hours, so you'll see me in person. But yeah, thank you guys so much for all the support, all of the continued, follow the channel and keep your subscriptions up and everything. We have a lot of stuff planned, as you can tell. If you haven't, if you're stopping in now and you haven't seen the update or the updates or whatever, feel free to watch this when it posts, because it will post up on YouTube automatically, which is really awesome, by the way. I just want to touch on that. That's really cool. But yeah, so we have a lot of videos to film, a lot of things, foods to try, and stuff like that. Like when we go to Galaxy's Edge, absolutely expect a pretty extensive video, if not multiple, or video in multiple parts of her experiencing Galaxy's Edge, because she has told me many times, we have to go, and I don't want to go until I see the movies. And I was like, okay, that's doable and doable. So definitely keep an eye out for that when it eventually comes out. As soon as we finish doing probably like 6 horror movies, we have Ghostbusters is one of them. She has not seen Ghostbusters. Maybe that's one, Joyful Spirit, if you're still in the chat, maybe that's one you can partake in. But we're gonna try and do 2 a week, if not 3, definitely a minimum of 2 a week. We've held that schedule so far, thus far, really well. We're gonna do 2 movies a week for the month of October, and on Friday the 13th, we're gonna do a very specific movie. I'm not gonna say what the name of it is, or anything, but yeah. So we're gonna do anywhere from 6 to 8 movies in the, or 8 to 12 movies, I guess, in the month of October, that are Halloween horror, not horror so much, but more so Halloween season-esque for the month of October. So definitely keep an eye out for those movies. And like I said, always drop your requests. Anything you'd like us to cover, we'd be more than happy to do so. But anyway, that's enough of me talking. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this new setting with the green screen and everything. I think I'm going to have that as like the default for these lives. But yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thank you for being subscribers. If you haven't and you just stumbled on me flapping my gums in this video and you want to see more content like this, at Snapkeep Videos on Instagram and YouTube, and then We Judge Everything on YouTube and Instagram as well. We have Patreons for both of those channels if you'd like to contribute monetarily like that for the channel's growth and all that. We greatly appreciate your donation. There's a bunch of tiers and all that stuff that you can get, extra videos and things like that for your donation. But thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys very, very soon with the next video. You guys have a good weekend, and I'll see you next Saturday at 11. I'm going to hold myself to 11 every Saturday. So I promise you guys, there's got to be an emergency for me not to show up every Saturday at 11 for these lives. So Smiley, you're going to get your wish. But yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out, and I will see you next week.